Hey everybody, how are you? I'm Awesome Ashby, and I am here to play Heated Rival trivia with you today. Okay, so like it says on the screen, grab your latte, grab your piece of paper, grab your pencil, get your water bottle, take your hair down. Okay, and we're just gonna have fun. We're just gonna have a good time. All right. So you have about 30 seconds to get started. Before we get started, and I'm going to see if I can see comments anywhere. If anybody's here with us, joining us today, while you do that. Mm, 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 mm. Okay, let me just pull up the next screen for you. There I am. Here we are. Yeah. Okay, we'll just start this timer before we get started. So get what you need to get because I know you love this show like I love this show. I can't see comments. I have to figure that out. We're going to do this every week. Not Heated Rivalry, but it'll change every week. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, yes, mic. Yes, we have the mic on. We've got that on. Yes. I Okay. I don't know. I apologize for not being able to see the comments. So we're just going to get started. You're your own game master today. My name's Awesome Ashby. Let's pull up that slide. Love that one. Here we go. It's me. Yay! Awesome Ashby. Woo! So I'm a professional team builder. I do really fun interactive games, strategic gameplay, outside, inside, customize, not customize. Whatever it is you're looking for, you can always find my link in the bio. I do see that we've got a few likes and we've got someone watching, and I appreciate that. Probably my mom. Love her to death. Thanks, Mom. And you can always rewatch this with friends or share it with anybody you want, and we can see, and you can have them play and see what their score is. Okay. So let's get started. It's going to get easier to medium to hard. I definitely want to hear in the comments or wherever you can post if you thought it was difficult, if you'd like the questions to be harder, whatever your feelings are. I'm open to feedback, and I just want to make this more fun as the weeks go on. So let's get started. Round one, okay? You got your latte, your paper, your pencil ready? All right, you have 30 seconds for each question. I'm going to give you the rules so that you know how to play. I'm going to put the question up on the screen. I'm going to read the question, and then I'll start the timer, all right? And let's see how much you know, how much you know about the show. Are you just watching them? Okay, here we go. The first question. Shane and Ilya first meet during what major hockey event? When do they first meet? Okay, time's up. Next question. Which player is known as hockey's golden boy? 30 seconds on the clock. I love this show. I know all these answers. It's fantastic. We love them. Which player is known as hockey's golden boy? All right, time's up. Next question. Question 3. Which player is seen as intense and unpredictable publicly? Which player is seen as intense and unpredictable publicly? My favorite one. Okay, next question. What position does Shane play? What position does Shane play? I'd also love to know if you can hear the music in the background. Next question. Question 5. What makes them instant rivals professionally? What makes them instant rivals professionally? Okay, next question. Question 6. Who shows up more emotional vulnerability, I apologize. Who shows up more emotional, who shows more emotional vulnerability in private? Oh my goodness. That tongue twisted me. Who shows more emotional vulnerability in private? Oh my gosh, I'm getting notes about how to be able to see the comments. I love it. Thank you, Davey. Okay, we're going to keep playing. Okay, next question. Question 7. How do they act toward each other in interviews? How do they act toward each other in interviews? All of these questions have about 1 to 2 word answers, and that's how I wanted to keep this first version. I'm open to thoughts, but I wanted to make it doable, right? So the answers are normally 1, 2 words. How do they act toward each other in interviews? Okay, next question. 8. Which city becomes an early meeting location? Which city becomes an early meeting location for the two of them? Oh, cool. Thank you, Davey. The instructions are get a pencil, get a latte, get a piece of paper, answer them as best you can. I'll go over all the answers at the end when we're done, okay? This is just 30 questions. We're not doing like a full 2-hour trivia show, although let me know if you're into it. Okay, question 9. What team is this? What team? Do you know the name of the team? What team is this? Do you know? Okay, time's up. Next question. Question 10. This is the last one for round 1. What repeated events bring them together away from teams? What repeated events bring them together away from teams? I love that Davey and my mom are having a full-on chat combo in the chat. Go, guys. All right. Last one for round one. And that's the end of round one, so I need to get to press my favorite button. Why do I love that so much? I don't know. I love an air horn. Okay, we're on round two now. We got 3 rounds, 10 questions per round. The answers are brief. It's 1 or 2 words. Let's get started. Let's jump in, as I like to say. Round 2, question 1. Why do they hide their relationship? Why? Why do they hide their relationship? I do have classical music playing in the background, but you can't hear it. It's very relaxing. Why do they hide their relationship? Time's up. Okay, next question. Question 2. What core conflict drives the relationship tension? What core conflict drives the relationship tension? Okay, time's up. Next question. Question 3. Who struggles the most with loneliness? Who struggles the most with loneliness? I feel like I should be looking at the comments on my phone. Hi, guys. I know, Mom. You got to watch the show. You got to watch the show, Mom. Everybody loves it. All right, time's up. Next question. Question 4. What defines the early relationship rule? What defines the early relationship rule? This can come off confusing. I think it's clear, but just in case, for a little hint, what defines the early relationship rule? What's something they bring up when they first start hanging out? That's really important. Okay, time's up. Question 5. Which character is Shane publicly linked to maintain a safe image? What character is Shane publicly linked to maintain a safe image? All right, time's up. Next question. Hockey symbolizes what for both characters? Hockey symbolizes what for both characters? You don't want it to be too easy. Hockey symbolizes what for both characters? It's okay, that was the answer for the position question. All right, Mom. All right, we're going to go over the answers at the end. Question 7. What team is this? Do we know? Do we know whose team that is? What city? What it's called? What team is this? Oh, I love this show. Okay, next question. Question 8. Who risks exposure first? Who risks exposure first? Who risks exposure first? We're almost done with round 2. All right, time's up. Question 9. Who is shown acting as Ilya's true emotional confidant? Who is shown acting as Ilya's true emotional confidant? All right, time's up. Last question for round 2. What realization defines late season 1? It defines the whole end of the season. And since there's only one season of the show, there will be more. What realization defines late season 1? Okay, I think my mom got one of them right, but I'm not for sure what order. That's okay. Again, we got one more round and then we'll go over the answers. All right. So, again, I get to blow my favorite. Why do I love that so much? I don't know, but I do. Okay. So, last round, round 3. And and mom, just so you know, these are the 2 gentlemen in the show. Okay. Round 3, here we go. Not to give away any answers. Question 1, round 3. Who wrote the original novel? Yes. Yes, this is from a book. Adapted from a book. Who wrote the original novel? Oh, I need to flip my record. All right, time. Question 2. The book belongs to which series? The book belongs to which series? Granted, this is about Heated Rivalry, the TV show, and I understand that, but you always have to give respect to where things come from. So, this book belongs to which series? I love that my mom's just writing things about hockey that she knows. Okay. Question 3. Which teammate struggles with balancing hockey culture and personal authenticity in a parallel storyline? Round 3, so we're getting a little tougher with the questions. Which teammate struggles with balancing hockey culture and personal authenticity in a parallel storyline? Question 4. What makes the romance structure unusual? What makes the romance structure unusual for this story? I wonder if I have time to flip my record. Hold on. Nice. I did. All right. Time. Question 5. Ilya's humor often hides what emotionally? Ilya's humor often hides what emotionally? Okay, Davey's coming through with some very correct answers. No, Mom. No. Well, we're going to go over it. Davey's got some right ones. Mom has one right one. Woo! All right. Time. Halfway through the last round. Here we go, everybody. Question 6. Who is Kip's romantic counterpart in the show's parallel relationship arc? Who is Kip's romantic counterpart in the show's parallel relationship arc? There's so much to this show. I can make many more rounds of trivia. But I think I want to do The Office or Law and Order next week. What do you guys think? Time. Okay, question 7. What shared struggle connects Kip and Hunter's relationship to Shane and Ilya's? What shared struggle connects Kip and Hunter's relationship to Shane and Ilya's? All right, time. Question 8. Which character communicates emotions more directly than Shane and Ilya early in the series? Which character communicates emotions more directly than Shane and Ilya early in the series? Okay, we've only got a couple more questions to go, everyone. All right, question 9. The story follows which romance trope? The story follows which romance trope? That's okay. We're going to go over all the answers in just a few seconds. Okay, last question out of 3 rounds. Here we go. Which family member provides Shane with emotional grounding during personal conflict? Which family member provides Shane with emotional grounding during personal conflict? What the heck is a trope? Hmm. Um, okay. And that is time, everybody. Let me blow my air horn again. Okay. So here we go. You want to know the answers? Always. We always want to know the answers. Okay, round 1 answers. Here we go. The question was Shane and Ilya first meet during what major hockey event? The NHL Draft. It was in the show, and they're all holding up their jerseys, and one of them's like 1, and the other one's like 2, and the other guy's like 3. I don't even remember who that guy is. But, oh my gosh, my camera got so close. Back it up, camera. Back. Like, hello. Hello. Camera. I felt like I did hand motions. Yeah, okay. That's camera AI. All right, here we go. Question 2. Which player is known as hockey's golden boy? Shane Hollander. That is the answer for that question. Shane Hollander is the golden boy. Okay, question 3. Which player is seen as intense and unpredictable publicly? Ilya Rozanov. Ooh, ooh, my favorite. He's so cute. He's so cute. I feel like I sound like my mom when I say stuff like that. Okay. Number 4. What position does Shane play? He plays center, not goalie, center. Okay, next question. What makes them instant rivals professionally? They play on opposing teams. One plays, and we're going to talk about that's one of the questions, one team, and the other plays on another team. And so when you play on a team, the goal is to win. Am I right? Question 6. Who shows more emotional vulnerability in private? Ilya, right? His emotional vulnerability is very much behind closed doors and not in the public eye. Question 7. How do they act toward each other in interviews? They are public rivals. That is kind of the premise of the show in that way, right? They are playing against each other. Their goal is to be the best team. And so publicly, they are rivals. Question 8. What city becomes an early meeting location? Montreal. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Montreal. I've always wanted to visit one day. Question 9. This is the Montreal Metro. So if you got the last answer, you might have gotten this answer. This is Shane's team and his logo, and they're out of Montreal, and they're called the Montreal Metros. I can't say that so many times. I'm like Metros. Okay, here we go. Last question answer for round 1. What repeated events bring them together away from teams? All-star events. Okay, so when they're not with their core team, they take the best players and they put them on these special teams. They're called all-stars. And they do it for a lot of sports and events. So you're familiar. All-star events is the answer for that question. Now we're going on to the answers for round 2. Boop, boop. Here we go. Question 1, round 2. Why do they hide their relationship? It's a career risk, right? Nobody has come out in the show, in that storyline. And again, I hope if you've been watching this far, spoiler alerts across the board. But I feel like a large population has watched this show. So it sort of came with the title. And yes, they hide their relationship because they do not want to risk their career. They don't know how the public will respond. And I hope we can change that as a society moving forward. Question 2, round 2. What core conflict drives their relationship tension? Control versus honesty is the answer. That's the core conflict that drives their relationship tension. Yes, Ilya really likes control, and yet in any functional, successful, thriving relationship, honesty is imperative. Okay. Next answer. Answer 3. Who struggles most with loneliness? Ilya. Ilya struggles the most with his loneliness. Harry Potter is not in this show, Mom. You're hilarious. Okay. Question 4. What defines their early relationship rule? Total secrecy. Heated wizardry. It's not a show. Is that a show? Oh, isn't that on Saturday Night Live? Yeah. So total secrecy is what defines their early relationship rule because they don't want anyone to know, right? They're afraid of that, what would happen. Okay. Question 5. Which character is Shane publicly linked to maintain a safe image? And that's Rose Landry. And it took me like a few minutes to realize that she was one of the young ladies from Yellow Jacket, which is another fantastic show I should do a trivia game on. Rose Landry. Okay. Question answer 6. Hockey symbolizes what for both characters? Their identity, right? It's everything they do. I think with a lot of professional athletes, it is their identity. Even though one activity, one job, one career, one sport shouldn't define any of us, when you're a professional athlete, it is all encompassing, and it is their identity in the story. Okay. Question 7, round 2. What team is this? Boston Raiders. This is Ilya's team, the Boston Raiders, and that's their logo. Right there. Answer 8. Who risks exposure first? Ilya. Ilya risks exposure first. Question 9. Who is shown acting as Ilya's true emotional confidant? Svetlana. We love her. We had to mention Svetlana at least once. I would mention her more than once in a longer game. Her character was wonderful and how she loved and took care of Ilya. Here we go. Last one for this round. What realization defines late season 1? Choose love. Love is the answer. Always. Love, 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 love. And so I think another reason people really gravitated towards this show in general is that's what we all need more in life is love. So yes, that is the answer for the last question of round 2, I believe. Round 3. Okay, last round, last set of answers. Here we go. We just hit over 30 minutes, so we're wrapping it up, everybody. The first question answer, who wrote the original novel? Rachel Reed wrote the original novel. And that goes along with answer 2. The book belongs to which series? Game Changers. Davey got that right. Good job. Good job. Yes, I'm loving your answers, Davey. It's fantastic. Yeah, yes. Yes, I know. All right, question 3, round 3. Which teammate struggles with balancing hockey culture and personal authenticity in a parallel storyline? Kip. Kip is struggling with it because he's not really in the culture, right? I mean, Hunter, this is his whole life. He wasn't struggling with it until he met Kip. Kip was struggling with it because Kip was already out and already living his best life. And then he falls in love and he's like, what's this about? I don't care what your gender or sexual orientation is. Love is always the answer, and nobody wants to be kept inside, okay? Everybody wants the sunshine, as they say in the show. All right. I know you said Hunter Davey, but that's all right because we can't get them all right. That's the point of a game. All right. What makes the romance structure unusual? It is a multi-year story. I can't think of other rom-coms and rom stories that are over a longer period of time. They're just not very prevalent. So that's what makes this romance structure unusual. It's a multi-year story. I think it spans over 8-9 years. And so you really jump, they jump every. No, there's no siblings, Mom. There's no siblings involved. But I love you so much. All right. Answer 5. Ilya's humor often hides what emotionally? His vulnerability. Yes, he is not a fan of being vulnerable in public. Okay? Yes, that is the answer, vulnerability. Question answer 6. Who is Kip's romantic counterpart in the show's parallel relationship arc? The answer is Hunter. So you did get that. How did my mom say Hunter? That's hilarious. Did you say Hunter because Davey said Hunter? I don't know. Okay. But that's the answer for number 6, Hunter. Answer 7. What shared struggle connects Kip and Hunter's relationship to Shane and Ilya's? Secrecy, hidden identity, right? That's the frustration during the show, which, we want to come to light as time goes on. Hunter did it in a very loud public way once he did win the Stanley Cup. But that is the common thread between the two couples. Question answer 8. Which character communicates emotions more directly than Shane and Ilya's early in the series? And that is Kip. Because Kip was okay with himself and his love and how he likes to live when you first meet him in the story, which is different than the other characters. Question 9. The story follows which romance trope? Enemies to lovers. A romance trope is... What's the best way to explain it? I feel like I'm not going to properly explain it right. It's just sort of that there are things that fall into these basic storylines as stories are told, right? And there are tropes in different genres, depending on what genre you're talking about. We're talking about romance, where a lot of the storylines fall into tropes, and it's just something that's classic, predictable, something that we know is an audience loves. And so this is the classic enemies to lovers trope. which is sort of described in the title itself. All right, last answer. Which family member provides Shane emotional grounding during personal conflict? His mama. You could have wrote the actor's name, the mom, mama, the character's name. Either way, I think their relationship's very unique and beautiful. I think she's a fantastic actress, and she didn't realize she wasn't providing the right support for her son that he needed to feel comfortable. And then by the end, you see that she does. And I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that. And so, yeah, that's it. I hope everybody had a really good time. I'm going to put where my face is a QR code at some point. But this is our first little party. Here's my face. Here's my face. Hey, everybody. And my microphone. My name's Awesome Ashby, and I thank you for playing with me today. Even if you're in the replay crew, I thank you for playing. I really love this show, and this was a good first game for me because What's up? It's okay, microphone. I'm going to... Of course, my microphone now is falling off. Okay. I'm a professional team builder. I do fun interactive gameplay. I'd love to host a trivia for your company, your team. We could do it for parties. It could be customized. Check out my website, link in bio, and I'll go there and check right now to see if I put my link in the bio. And I had a really fun time today. Stay tuned because next week we will do more trivia on a different show with different topics. All right. Thanks for playing, everybody. I had so much fun with you today. I appreciate Davey and my mom coming out to say hi too. It was really nice. It was a family event. So I will see you all next week. Awesome Ashby saying bye.